What motivated me to study abroad was first that it fulfilled a degree requirement. I had an elective class that I had to take that our spring break study abroad course would satisfy. And second, it sounded fun, which sounds horrible, but it's true. I wasn't able to study abroad as an undergraduate student, and as a master's student, it wasn't really conducive working full time, going abroad for a whole semester. So I thought the spring break option would be a good kind of intermediate to go get some international experience because I.
I was always interested in the cultural aspects of Jamaica. So just knowing that that's part of my people as far as being of African descent, that always intrigued me. So for us and going to chill to learn about Rastafarian culture, learn about the Maroon Village. I mean, this is stuff that I've always been intrigued about learning about. So it was more of a cultural aspect for me.
I think part of the motivation for me was to be able to find different cultures and how those different cultures interacted with their ecosystem and their animals, their environment. That's probably what started it all.
Well, the purpose of my class was to go and learn about the business community in Costa Rica. And we definitely did learn about that. We learned a lot about political relations between Costa Rica and its neighboring countries. But honestly, what we learned the most about was Costa Rican culture and the resiliency of people there and just things their government has done for their country. Like, for example,
Really just about the culture of what it was and how people interact with each other. And when we had gone down there, it seemed like everybody was hustling everywhere and they'd have their own markets and they would they grow their own stuff, so they're very conservative.
Yes, I would say that's absolutely true. The very first time that I went to study abroad, actually, I went with a group of people that I was unfamiliar with, and I wanted to do some things that were different than they were doing, and so I had to take myself out into the community and make do with the small amount of Spanish that I had at that point in time and actually get myself from point A to point B and back again.
and I got really sick while we were there, and so I kind of had to navigate finding allergy drugs. I spoke a little bit of Spanish, but my Spanish definitely improved while I was there, and it did make me more confident. Like last week, I was in Miami, and I used those Spanish skills that I had gained in Costa Rica to be able to answer questions when people came up to me just in stores and started talking to me in Spanish.
After that experience, I would definitely say so because it just shows me how the world moves, and us as Americans, or just being from whatever walk of life you in, you might think the world ticks and caters around you and what you think but there's a whole world out there, and I was able to get that experience from that. So
Yes, I really do. I think that sometimes we are fearful in the face of a different culture and we don't know how we're going to be perceived, or some of the things that we say might be perceived. And when you really get into those situations, you find out that yes, there's some differences, but we're all just people and we're all just individuals, and we work it out.
It would help me because I've seen a different side of, in a sense, the world, so that way I can use that perspective since some other people probably haven't been to where we were.
Well, in my case, it made me consider doing foreign service and going to work for the United States in a foreign embassy and actually looking into, what does it take to represent our country in a foreign country.
What surprised me was that they were very outgoing, and since to them, we were technically gringos, so they were willing to help us with our Spanish.
I think one of the first countries that I went to, one of the things that surprised me the most was that the femininity of the women was still probably back in the 50s, more like the 50s, unlike we are here in America where, you know, we wear jeans and we're casual all the time, and the way that we speak to men is fairly casual. And in some other countries, that's still quite formal. And the way that women dress is still in keeping with, you know, dresses and jewelry and makeup in a way that we have become unused to and uncomfortable with.